Hey y'all, welcome to I Got My Heart Broken and decided to make a podcast. We got some new equipment today in today's episode, so there's an actual microphone. I am still recording on my cellular device, but I don't know. Maybe the audio is a little different. I'm not sure. We're gonna be completely honest because I'm looking at these audio waves and I ain't gonna bullshit you. The shit is not it's it's not looking that good to me, in my opinion. But hey, who knows? Yeah, we'll see how this episode turns out. Hope you are well. I want to do a little like check-in type of episode. This is a very reflective episode. This is just me talking about me and my life and my goals and my journey, and just where I am currently and where I aspire to be. Cause I'm in a really weird spot, like I feel like a weird spot. I don't know. um I've been reflecting so much on my life throughout my college journey, but just like, I'm 21, so I'm still a new adult and I'm still just trying to figure it out. And I guess something that I've learned and I've begun to accept is literally every adult is just trying to figure it out. Every human is just trying to figure out life, you know what I mean? And that's a beautiful thing. Um and I can look back and I can say I'm definitely living in answered prayers. Like there's so much stuff, like there's so many things that I can say that I wanted to do and I've either accomplished or I've been wanting to do, and that's amazing. Even my resume. 2 years ago, I worked at the BET Awards. I have contacts in my phone who work for Black Entertainment Television. Or if you want to get into technicals and who owns, them Paramount. I've worked with people who work in the industry that I have been wanting to really get into. Um, I'm just in a reflective phase of life because I'm not exactly where I want to be. I'm on the path though, and that's something that I can give myself props for. I'm on the path to being where I want to be and getting what it is that I want to get out of life. But it's not an easy journey. Like this is not easy. This is just not easy, man. It's not, you don't just wake up and like randomly you're everything that you wanted and you put no work in. No, you wake up randomly and you're everything you ever wanted to be because you put in that work. And I was just reading some of my old journal entries and like just different things that I used to say to myself. And it's like, damn, I've always been this way. You know what I'm saying? It's like I'm coming out of, I guess, a form of survival mode. And now I'm able to like really reflect. And I think while I was within survival mode, therapy was like great for me because I didn't off myself, but I was really trying to heal myself and like fix my life and fix all these issues that I had while being in survival mode, and it didn't fucking work. Or it's like now, like I'm not so much in survival mode as much, and I also like I don't know, I also just have, I guess some would say, a better understanding of myself and a better understanding of how the world works and just how like everything is a circle. Your whole life is a circle. And I'm just really understanding that. I've been looking back on like younger me and I have to give her props. But I also have to like let her go and I have to let go of what was. I have like noticed and it's not something I recently noticed. This is something I've been noticed, but I have an issue with keeping people in my life I don't want in my fucking life. And I don't know if it's out of fear of being alone, like subconscious fear of being alone, because I have no problem with being alone, like being by myself, chilling by myself, spending the whole day with myself. But it's like, on the other hand, I do. You know what I'm saying? Like, I keep people in my life I don't want in my life anymore. Like, every day I delete this message thread with this person because I don't want to talk to them. And then, like, we end up talking. It'd be cool. It'd be cool. And it's like, if we didn't have that past, like if I just had met this person, it would be so easy to just cut them off. But because I already have like an established past with them, I delete the message thread every day, like the new messages, because it's just like I just out of sight, out of mind. And then I guess part of me gets mad at them for not having boundaries and letting me stay in their life. But it's like, dumbass, just stop going into their life. Stop entering. You know what I'm saying? It's like you don't like this person, and obviously I don't like the person, but you don't want to be in this person's life for real anymore. Like you just, yeah. But like you keep inviting yourself back in their life. Granted, they do the same thing every once in a while to you, but you cuss them out so bad that everything is really on your terms. If you decide to end the relationship right now, it'll be ended. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, what am I really doing? You know, what am I doing to, I'm not gonna say what am I doing to myself, but like, why am I interacting with you if I don't want to talk to you? If every time you talk to me, you trying to address, like you're trying to set boundaries with me, and it's like, okay, I respect your boundaries, but also I really, not even like I don't give a fuck to respect your boundaries, but I don't give a fuck to talk to you enough to like really be conscious of your boundaries. And that level of awareness, it eats me up. I'm not gonna lie. Like I know all of my shortcomings. And I think when people be trying to tell me about myself, it really, not even I think I know, it pisses me off. It pisses me off because like you don't know me. You really don't fucking know me. You don't know me at all. You really don't know what's going on in my head or where I'm coming from. And that's fine. Like that's your fucking business. You know what I'm saying? But don't get over here trying to tell me who I am. Because then it also, like, there's certain things about myself that I will say other people kind of like caught on to that I didn't peep other people caught on to. Like, you know how like you can only see yourself through your reflection. Like for real. Like you can never really see your actual self. You will only ever see yourself physically as a reflection. So I was just very surprised that people who can actually see my real self, my whole self, they don't look at me through the reflection that I see myself under. It's really interesting. And I don't know if that makes sense to people. But I just mean like sometimes it throws me off when people like do catch on to me and they do see me for who I really am. That is a little, yeah, that's a little mind fucking. I ain't even gonna cap. It is a little like, damn. This episode, I'm not gonna lie, is very first episode vibes, but I don't care. This is just me chatting. I'm growing as I continue to create episodes. I'm evolving. This episode 9. We up there. We almost there. We almost done with the season. I don't know it yet, but we are. Um, yeah, but like, okay, when I really reflect and I look at my life, I have come a long way, and I don't have the same self-limiting beliefs that I once had. I can, like, I guess kick myself in the ass and I can be like, damn, I'm a lot more motivated as a photographer than I was before. But honestly, I just think everything was just true to my journey. Like, what if I got all of this success and all of this stuff that I said I wanted when I wasn't ready or when I wasn't gonna appreciate it, which again I have experienced certain success, and I'm not gonna say I didn't appreciate it, but I couldn't sit in it. I couldn't, like, I didn't feel like I had the mental capacity or the I don't know, the will to keep building on it. And that's a terrible place to be. To like know you are capable of achieving things, to achieve great things, and to not build on it is so fucked up. Like that's the worst place to be in mentally. And yeah, that's kind of just what I'm coming out of. I've seen like I sat myself out. And let me tell you like some of my business. So basically, I used to attend. So when I started college, I attended Bethune-Cookman University, and then I attended there, my whole freshman year. Stayed over the summer, was a peer mentor. My freshman year, I joined. I got myself started myself very active. Like I joined student activities board. I joined a party promotion group. I joined um phenomenal women in higher education think tank. I joined all of these organizations to meet people, build my community, but also like to evolve and push myself to grow as a woman. And um okay, so we'll start with PWTT. PWTT, the girls that were my sisters and I was supposed to like, have the genuine bonds with. I'm just gonna speak for me. I'm not gonna speak for the organization as a whole, or what goes on in that organization now. But that organization just didn't end up being right for me. The people that I was in that organization with did not be the right people for me. Now, I'm not gonna sit here and like discredit PWTT because I do have some I would consider lifelong friends from PWTT. And my closest college friend, I feel like PWTT helped me get closer to her. And so does SAB. But it helped me see her in a different angle, in a different light, in the way that other people didn't see her. Because I tell her this all the time. I didn't know you were shy when I met you. I ain't gonna bullshit you. I did not know you was shy. So when I saw that different side of her when we were in PWTT, and I was seeing how observant she was and how like she was, I guess, with other people, that's when I realized, oh, my friend is shy. Or not even shy. Now I wouldn't say it was shy, but I think that was a term that we used back then. But now I would just say she's an observant person. She's a selective person. And I didn't know that. Like, and I'm not gonna say like I couldn't have figured that out, but if you know me, I just be out there beating my own motherfucking drum. And yeah. So, okay. That was So back to PWCC. So yeah, PWCC just turned out to not be what I was expecting. My main goal, and I don't know if I go through my Google Docs, I'm pretty sure I could probably find my I could find like my application and why I wanted to join PWCT, and that reason still stands. Like that's still a goal that I have, and that's why I aspire to, once I, I guess get over myself a little bit more. That's why I aspire to join more women sisterhood organizations, and I want to be a part of more organizations because one, I am an only child. And then not only that, but I have issues. I'm not gonna say I have issues, but like I don't have siblings, right? And like I had siblings briefly, but but I understand how sisterhood as a Black woman will help you achieve your life's purpose, and how it'll help you um just become your best self, and can push you to do better. I will definitely say like the people I am cool with from PWT, they've definitely kept it very real with me. They've been very honest with me. And they've also been a part of my own growth journey. The ones I'm cool with. And so my purpose in joining PWT was because I wanted to grow a sisterhood bond with other Black women that had similar values to me, to grow. And I also wanted to get back to the community through us by also, building that bond. I'm not wording this right, and I'm also not thinking as I'm talking. That sounds really weird, but if you know me in real life or you've even picked up from it, you can tell like I don't always think before I talk. And when I do think before I talk, I mean, it's not either way. Like I feel like sometimes I sound good, sometimes I sound stupid. But in this one, I'm not really thinking. This is just kind of automatic thinking because it's really reflective. And I already wrote out everything that I need to say. But now I got to tell y'all like the stories and give y'all, I guess, more details. So back to my journey at BCU. So I started my freshman year. Like I said, I joined PWCT. I joined SAB. And in joining them, I met people, whatever. Cool. I started to not really vibe with SAB as much towards the end of I only really was in whatever. I just started to not vibe with SAB as much, and I didn't really think that it was a good fit for me. So in August or like September maybe of what was it? What month was it? Of the my sophomore year, I left SAB. And I left it when I was in Delaware. Like I sent the email when I was in Delaware. I wasn't even in the state. Why was I in Delaware? I don't know why I was in Delaware, but I was in Delaware when I left SAB. And but it wasn't like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm sitting here thinking, and I wasn't just leaving SAB. Like a part of me was also leaving BCU, and I didn't realize that either. And now I'm looking back and I can just say, yeah, that was me just detaching from the school. I ended up going through a really terrible breakup that fall of my sophomore year, and like I no longer felt safe. Oh. The whole point of me going to college was because I was homeless, and in my head, I didn't have enough money in my savings account to go get an apartment, and college just made sense. That's really why I went to college. That's like a watered down version of why I went to college. Like it's more details and shit, but really that's a watered down version. So I went to college. Right, I'm already homeless. Like I was battling a lot of shit. And then like I just stopped feeling safe at school. I used to feel really safe at school. Anytime, like I went to Delaware one time my freshman years for my grandma's birthday. I hated every second, other than when I was like, spending time with my grandma. But I hated every other second of it. I hate Delaware bad. Like it just, I don't know, it just be feeling like a dark cloud. And that, yeah. So, when I sent my SAB letter, I was in a rush to get back to Delaware, get back to Florida, but while I was in Delaware, but it was just like, I don't know. I don't know if I'm even like really explaining this well, but I was in a rush to get back, but it just was what it was. I don't know how else to really. Oh, I was in Delaware back to back because my great grandmother passed away, and then also, um, we had a family reunion that my mom already paid for me to like go to. So we just had a lot going on. So yeah, um back to I guess the fall of my sophomore year. Um yeah, so I was in a relationship, and in like September I broke up with my partner. Um and I just no longer felt safe because the breakup was that bad, because the girl ended up like, it was just a really nasty breakup. But one day she would like be everywhere that I frequented, bruh. Like she just wanted to talk. She would just like stalk me and want to talk. uh, I did not like that shit. Like literally that shit just, I did not like it. That's just a long story short. Like she just was everywhere. And then she would knock my door every day, and the shit just, yeah. And then one day she kept asking for the shit she bought me for my birthday back. Then eventually I gave in, and I didn't give her the birthday card that she got me because I couldn't find it. And long story short, I'm in the shower after I drop everything in front of her door. And I say drop everything in front of her door. Like, she got me a hat, and I put everything inside the hat, and I dropped the shit in front of her door. And then long story short, I'm in the shower. Like, this is like probably 20-30 minutes after this shit. I'm in the fucking shower. Why the fuck did this girl knock on my seatmate's door and like talking to my seatmate, and then walks into the fucking bathroom while I'm washing my ass? And then she goes and storms into my room, and I guess I forgot to give her this jacket that was hers, but like, bro, I just wanted her off my dick, so I just, I gave it to her. So whatever. It was just like all of that, right? it was just so much, and I just no longer felt safe, right? And then there was a situation with there was just a situation, like with the shooter, and I just really didn't feel safe because um I don't want to say it's irrational, but the way I act is probably irrational. But I low key have a fear of getting shot in public, and just being a victim. So just the situation I was in, it just aided in that fear. So now I just really no longer felt safe. And then for Thanksgiving break, I spent 10 days in Delaware, and I was sad and crying that I had to go back to school. I never experienced that ever, like wanting to stay in Delaware over being in fucking Florida. Like that shit was crazy to me. So I ended up, you know, leaving Florida, went to Delaware State for 1 semester. And then some stuff happened over the summer, and I was like, okay, I gotta take a semester off. And then I ended up back in Florida because the stuff happened in Florida, and I was like, all right, well, fuck it. Then I was like, I already said I'm only taking 1 semester off. I'm a person of my word to myself, so you want to go back to school and just go back to cook, man. So I went back to cook, man. And then, like, I'm not gonna lie, it's been a different experience for me, and I don't hate it, but it's been very reflective. Like this past semester, I was able to, I felt like a bum, and I kept telling people like, "Yo, I feel like a bum. I feel like this. I feel like that." And the reason why everybody else like, "Nah, Z, you not like Z a bum, nah." And I didn't see what they saw, and like I didn't see like I already was very hardworking. I already had impressed everybody when it came to like what the fuck I had going on, like low key. And this is not no cocky stuff, but like low key niggas were looking up to me. Niggas like I'm not gonna lie, shit the niggas are just now achieving, and that is another thing that like I don't know, it makes my brain like separate like this, like it just makes my brain separate from it's the skull a little bit. It's a little, I don't know how to explain it, but it's like a physical sensation that I feel when I realize like I'm not gonna I've achieved, like when I just realized shit's not really what it seems. Like I thought a lot of people were really on shit when I came back. And I'm not saying nobody was on shit. I'm not even being like trying to be disrespectful. I just thought people were doing more than what met the eye. And when I realized they really weren't, I said, oh, so I'm over here being hard on myself. And these niggas ain't even like doing as much shit even, or like they're just now achieving shit that I achieved my freshman year. And it's like, oh, I did a lot of shit my freshman year. Like I worked homecoming, and I didn't realize, I was really the only freshman to do that. And I do think like I missed out on some experiences. But if we're gonna be honest about who I am as a person, Z don't really like to party. Z don't really give a fuck about this shit. If we're gonna be honest, like Z don't really like to drink. Like this type of shit really isn't for Z. So it's like when I just look back and I reflect, I'm like, damn, I let this girl get in the way of my goals I was already established. Like there were people that had fucking actual insight that really were trying to like put me on game and really trying to like give me the information. It's like now I'm back and y'all were right, but it's like also, now I gotta rebuild these connections. I gotta rebuild my damn skills because niggas took a year, damn near, I want to say a year. I wasn't absolutely not creating, but I say like like 6 months. Took me like 6 months. I took like 6 months off of creating. And like I was going through a lot, but it was like that was the longest time I had ever taken off of creating. So now I gotta get my skills back up. I gotta believe in myself because nigga, I done fell off for so long that in my head I done fell off for so long that I'm like, nah, niggas ain't even achieving nothing, but whole time niggas were. You know what I'm saying? So it was just this past semester, this past spring of 2025 semester, it opened my eyes to a lot of who I am, and I had to figure out what kind of student I wanted to be. And now, like, I know who I am again. I had to remember who the fuck I was, on some like real stuff. And now I know who I am. I know what I want to achieve, and I'm getting myself back focused. I am more focused, and even me creating this podcast, yes, it was on some random I'm in a car shit, but so was me, picking up a fucking camera. like picking up my camera, deciding to become a photographer. That was some random ass shit. I had my camera for almost a year before I really picked it. My first camera, my Canon Mark II. Damn, is that what it's called? My Canon 5D Mark II. Damn, it's been so long. But yeah, like I sat on that camera for a while. My cousin gifted it to me in fucking December around Christmas time, and I literally didn't pick it up until the following October. So I sat on my camera for almost a year not creating. And it's like, okay, then I did that again. And now, I just have more fire under my ass. And I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like, oh, I don't be losing motivation, because I definitely do be losing motivation when it comes to this podcast. Like the certain goals that I do have, like it's challenging. And it's like, duh, goals are supposed to be challenging. Things are supposed to challenge you. And I'm just learning so much about myself, about my work ethic, and just where I am. And now I'm not gonna lie, a lot of the lessons that people were trying to give me, and a lot of the game people were trying to give me, that I wasn't really there to receive in that moment, I'm able to receive now. You feel me? So it's like, all right, like I see where I'm coming from. I see where I'm growing and how I'm evolving, and I'm appreciative of where I came from and where I'm coming from and how I'm gonna evolve. And that's something like I kind of constantly have to remind myself, like, you have come so fucking far. And that's a blessing. That is a huge blessing. And I understand the seniors that were around when I was a freshman. And I understand so much. And even like when it came to me leaving Cookman and then coming back, that shows how all of my friendships, not all of them, but how a lot of my friendships that were not that were really good, how they it just showed me like the parallels within my friendships and my relationships. Like, you know, it'll be this really, really uncomfortable spot that I'm in, then I'll leave because it's too much, or I'll just ghost you, and then I'll try to come back once I've processed my emotions and everything else. But people aren't like that, and people aren't like, an institution. And it's like, yeah, I've built those relationships, and I'm rebuilding the relationships because so much in me has changed. Um and so much about the school has also changed, and just so much about the people that I'm now surrounded with has changed. Just so much in my life has changed, right? And same thing with people in their lives. People's roles have changed. People have evolved, blah, 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 right? Cool, great. And basically, my bottom line is I've learned so much about myself over this, year almost journey of me not being at Cookman. Cookman was always like a relevant factor. Even that semester that I was not at Cookman, I literally went to the Mary's Choice Awards, and I still came around. And even like that semester that I wasn't at Cookman, I held on. Like I refused to let go of my Bethune-Cookman University keychain. I don't know. And that's why I say like my journey is so divine. I don't know if you follow me on TikTok, but I made a video and I was just like, my journey is so divine, because I just be looking back and I'm like, bro, I'm really a wildcat, like through and through. I have so like, when I graduate, babe, these little love letters that I be writing to the school and to the institution and to the founder, I'm not gonna lie, that shit is gonna hit on a deeper motherfucking level. I mean, it's gonna be just so poetic, because that's really who I am. I'm a poetic, deep feeling person, and I love that. But I've just learned so much about myself, and um that's like a little bit of my journey. I know like me telling y'all the story was like very all over the place, but this is what it's like to have a conversation with me sometimes. It's a little bit all over the place, but the bottom line was like I've learned so much, and I'm learning so much, and it's uncomfortable. I'm gonna be honest, it's very uncomfortable. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like, oh, I don't complain, because I do. And I'm in an uncomfortable place right now, even. And I've realized like just reflecting, and this is why it's really good to journal and stuff, because just reflecting, I recognize the same thing that I was chasing when I was 18 is the same thing that I'm chasing when I was 19 and 20 and 21. And even when I was 15 and I put myself in therapy, it's all the same thing that I'm chasing, just looks like it just looks different. And when I like water everything down and I get to like the core of whatever the issue is, I understand myself a lot more. I allow myself a lot more grace, and I'm able to actually learn the lessons that I was supposed to learn, instead of constantly repeating the same freaking lesson over and over and over and over and over again. So Just saying, looking back on younger me, my goals have always really been the same. And I don't know if other people can say that. And I would love to talk, like, even in the comments, like, comment below. Have your goals, like the foundation of your goals, has it always been the same? I don't know a lot of people who the foundation of their goals has always been the same. Like, since I was fucking 6, like, it's like I've known, not even 6, since I was like a little kid, like I've known what I was supposed to do. And then just as I've gotten older, um I've gotten the vocabulary for it. But you know, I didn't realize I've always been living this life. Even when it comes to like my spiritual journey, which we can get onto on another episode, but um even my spiritual journey, like people be like, oh, this bitch just picked up fucking rocks and crystals and just started, calling herself spiritual because, the shit was a trend in 2020. No, my first big spiritual awakening, yes, it did happen in 2020, but the foundation of what it is that I believe on a spiritual level, I ain't gonna bullshit you. I done believed this shit since I was a little kid and I didn't even have the words for it. I believed in reincarnation. I remember telling my stepsister, she was like, Zah, what happens when you die? I was like, well, you live another life and another life and another life. You just keep doing it until you get it right or something like that. I said something along those lines. And I was like, dang, I don't even know where I got this from. And I asked her, I was like, is that right? And she was, or I said something like, oh, Deja asked me a question about, what happens when you die and stuff like that. And I told her it, but I don't know if I told her the right thing. She was like, well, you always want to make sure you tell people the right thing, especially when it comes to things like that. And I held on to it, and I was so worried that I didn't know if I was talking about the right thing. But I always held on to that belief that you die and then you live another life and then you live another life and you live another life. And yes, I do believe within one lifetime you do die a lot and then you eventually have your final death. But I do believe on a soul fucking level, you die, this, your soul doesn't die. I think your soul is eternal. Some people's soul is eternal. Some of y'all, I don't know if you have a soul, but um I believe that your soul is eternal. So your soul is going to live however many lifetimes that it needs to live to understand whatever your soul wants to learn, or not even wants to learn, but needs to learn in order to achieve whatever whatever. Okay, I have to, I guess, slow this down, but I think, and I understand, and this is something I've read in other books, and I'm starting to understand it on a deeper level than ever. But you are God and the universe experiencing itself. So your soul is God and the universe experiencing itself. So I say that to say your soul is going to experience however many things that it needs to experience until it, I guess, is tired of experiencing. I don't know. I don't have the answer to that. But I think within one lifetime, you live multiple lives. But in a literal sense, you do live multiple lives. And however your previous life was lived, that determines what kind of life you live in the next life. That makes sense. So like a basic reincarnation definition, but I believe these things since I was a kid. And then I remember being in middle school, and I learned in social studies, we learned about the three we learned about the three Abrahamic, religions, but we also learned about Hinduism, Buddhism, and that shit changed the way that I think. And I'm very thankful that, like, I've kind of always been, and thank you to my mom, I have to give her those props, but she's kept me white adjacent, and the sense of she wanted to make sure that I had a good quality of education. And I'll just give her that. Like, when we lived in Ohio, she really didn't play about school. And I was always like, her number one was school, school, school. And I understand now why she was like that, and why, why her mentality was the way that it was, and why she acted the way she did. And I have a lot of grace and a lot of gratitude to her for that. Um, and even seeing how people conduct themselves now and how people, um, treat their own education, it opened my eyes even more into what my mom was trying to teach me. And I didn't even see it. Yeah. And I just didn't even see it then. But thankfully now I see it. Um, so I would like to transition a little bit into a different topic, but this all is kind of one and the same because yeah. So I have wondered if I recently just kind of come across the thought that I might be very self-centered. Um, and I might talk about myself a little bit too much. And there's nothing wrong with like talking about yourself, but I don't want to talk like this is why I know I'm not a narcissist, but I don't want to like talk about myself so much that you can't get a word in. And I don't want to like just look at things from my perspective that I can never put myself in your shoes and I can never, be empathetic towards you or like grow in that way because I think that disrupts the chance to have a genuine connection with another person. Like I never want to just be so caught up in my own fucking life that I can't zoom out and maybe put myself in someone else's. And this is why I'm like, I need to travel. I need to get out there. I need to go talk to people. I need to connect with people. Because, I mean, if we want to get into the astrology of it, we could. But no, some real stuff like, well, astrology is real. But also, like, on some real shit. Like, I don't want to be a self centered person. But I don't want to just operate, and it's really hard. I'm a Leo. I have a Leo stellium, but I don't want to just be overly self-centered, but I also don't want to neglect my own self-care because I'm trying to put myself and be like super empathetic. Like I think part of being an empathetic being is also being empathetic with yourself and understanding yourself and understanding, you. I don't think you can be truly empathetic with anyone else if you're not empathetic with yourself. You're not empathetic like with what you might be going through or where your journey might be going. That's just my personal opinion. Like you gotta kind of just put yourself in someone else's shoes. And I guess maybe I am a little too open. This stuttering shit be killing me sometimes, but maybe I am. I don't know. I just don't want to be super self-centered. Like I don't want to be a self-centered person. Um, I do want to prioritize like fuck self-care and like defining what that truly means to me. Granted, my definition is very interesting. Like, well, things that I define as self-care. It's very interesting. Like keeping your hair done, your nails done, your toes done. Working out is actually very like self-care. Um, journaling, like working on your mindset, hanging out with your friends. I view that as self-care. Um, I also think doing nothing is a form of self-care, but I'm trying to like, reshape how I view self-care because I'm telling you these are my definitions of self-care, but ask me how often I really actively like put a bunch of effort into participating in self-care. That answer is yeah. But okay, that's just like something that I really do want to work on. And I don't know, maybe by the end of the next season or the end of this show, will I'll have a better understanding and that's something I can like come back to. But right now, like I don't want to be self-centered, but I also I don't want to be self-centered in a negative way. Like I would love to be Zyona centered. Yes. But I don't want to be like it's only my world and I'm the only person in this world that lives in it. No, yes, I know sometimes. I do operate like it's my way or the highway. But I am also very reasonable, and I am also very willing to make compromises. I would like it to be my way or the highway, but I also don't always want my way. Like, I like being told no sometimes. Sometimes. And I don't know if that's even like really unhealthy. Just some of the shit I'm saying to y'all, I ain't gonna lie, is shit I need to say to a therapist. We're gonna get back right soon though. I ain't gonna lie. I think all in all though, like just the biggest thing that I want to take from this episode, because I was a little bit ranting, a little bit of me just saying kind of whatever comes to my mind. I think all in all though, the biggest thing I will say that I have learned, and I think it might encompass everything that I kind of said, aside from the mild trauma dumping I did on y'all, is taking risk is how you grow. I've taken a lot of risk. I took a risk when it came to going to college. I was homeless. You know what I'm saying? I needed a place to stay. I took a risk with going to Delaware. I took a risk with deciding to move back to Florida. And you take risk all the time. And I think, you know, there's something great on the other side of taking risk. And there's also something great in just being able to look back on your life and be able to reflect and understanding yourself. I the bottom line, aside from everything that I have going on, I'm understanding what grit really means. A lot of people say, it takes grit to get to where you want to go. It takes grit, but nobody talks about what the fuck grit is. And I'm not gonna lie, in everyday life we've experienced grit, but if you don't understand what it means, or somebody doesn't give you the example, like, it takes grit to be able to get through college. College itself, the academics itself, is not hard. And I say, like, it's not hard because for example, if you know how to study, you know how to apply certain things, it really is not hard. It's just a matter of like cheating the system and passing tests. But and I'm not saying cheating the system like, oh, cheating on your assignments. No, like, when it comes to taking tests, there's a certain algorithm that each teacher creates for themselves. If you learn your teacher's patterns, and you can learn how to pass that teacher's test, whether you learn the material or not. And I know this because I've taken test taking tips, and I used to fucking go to Sylvan Learning to make sure like I know how to take tests and like certain things like that. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not really embarrassed to say that, but yeah, so if you know how to take tests and you learn your teacher's patterns and you learn the knowledge that you memorize what you got to memorize for the test, you're fine. But with college, you have real life sprinkled into a little bit of real life, because some people they still taken care of. But for me, I've had real life sprinkled into my collegiate journey, and that determines if you can get through the real life shit, and you can also figure out the algorithms, pass the test, do what you got to do to build your career. Then you get then you get the degree. Like, you do the internships, you do all the little basic tests, you pass all of the academic requirements to get the degree, and then you also pass the life requirements that it takes to get the degree, because you got to worry about finances, like going to college, at least in the United States. Like, it's not, and let me just go to an HBCU perspective. It's not just being worried about the motherfucking, oh, I gotta pass, like, in like high school, you're just worried about like, oh, and if you're not going to a private school, you're not just worried about the goddamn like the assignments. No, you're worried about real life mixed with academic education, mixed with paying for school. And then the other shit that just comes with it. And it does take grit, and it takes getting through those hard lessons, persevering through the hard, and seeing the other side of your goal. That is grit. That's my definition of grit shit. And that's how you get from point A to point B to point C. That's how people go from point A to Z. You don't see all the other letters, because a lot of people don't get into details about the other letters that they just don't get into all the letters. I ain't gonna lie. And I don't know why, because I think it's very I just think it's really fucked up to show somebody, yeah, I was at point A and then now I'm at point Z. Why are you not talking about the hardships that you experienced? Because to keep being like, I don't know, I just feel like it gives you more credibility when you talk about what you really went through and how you went through and how it made you feel and how, you was really ready to go. Like, I feel like now I could talk to a freshman that, like, went through or is going through some shit that I was going through, or even somebody, not even a freshman, just somebody that's going through something that I went through. It's like, nah, let me tell you. I could tell you, and I could tell you how I could tell you how you're feeling right now because I've been there, and you don't even have to really learn the lesson on your own. You can learn it from me and what the fuck I learned. But I think that's the issue when it comes to people and sharing lessons. You have to also meet that person where their emotions currently are, because when you're young, especially, you are ruled by your emotions, whether you want to say it or not. Like, if your frontal lobe is not fully developed, the logical side of your brain is not completely there. So you're going to be more ruled by your emotions. And then the more that you're ruled by your emotions, your debate, bottom line, people need to meet you where your emotions currently are, and then you end up being more receptive to the advice. And that's just like for me personally, because I am a very emotional person. I do wear my heart on my sleeve. I quite literally have a heart tattooed on my sleeve. um and that's okay. But if somebody really wants to give me impactful advice, I need you to meet me where I currently am with my emotions, and tell me, put yourself in my shoes and tell me. And even like when it comes to kids, like, yo, people, the reason why a lot of kids don't listen to it is because you don't understand. But it's like, and it's like they might understand, but you're not helping this kid understand that you understand where they're coming from. You got to put yourself in that kid's shoes. Really, you gotta put yourself, like, if you've been through what a kid was going through, you gotta put yourself in your shoes and feel, or just put yourself in somebody else's shoes, feel what they are feeling, and then approach them with the insight and the advice or whatever it is that they might need from you. I don't know. That was a little rant in the end, but I hope y'all were able to take something from this. Um, I don't give advice on this podcast, and I say that a lot because, shoot, do what you want to do. If you explicitly ask me for advice, sure, I can share some of my insights with you. But I'm 21 years old. I don't have my life completely together, but I'm working on it, and I can share with you what I've learned. If you're open, and I'm open to learning from other people too, and learning from their own personal mistakes. I just would like to thank you for, if you made it all the way through this episode. Thank you for joining my journey. This is just a small part of a bigger journey, something greater. I know I'm destined to be creating movies, creating documentaries, to be creating podcasts, and just doing production all around. I'm not gonna lie, I don't see my life any other way. Um, and I don't see my life, as if I were to be a regular content creator. I see my life for what is genuinely destined to be. So I'm grateful for the journey that it takes me to get to where it is that I want to be, but I don't care how long it takes. Like, it's okay. And yeah, so I hope you begin to enjoy your own personal journey and you don't rush yourself to the destination. I know I've definitely done that a lot. And thankfully, I'm 21 and I've learned to stop rushing to get to the destination. And I will not be 31 rushing to get to the destination, because I will take every day, day in and day out, good day or bad day, for what it is, part of my journey. Like, your life is that line in between your death day and your birthday. I say this a lot. But anyway, hope you guys have a great day. I'll catch you on the next episode. And I hope you guys are enjoying this link. This is a new link that we're in when it comes to this. And hopefully you enjoy the mic. All right. See y'all.